Hey, thanks for tuning in to Humble Spirituality. My name is Daniel. I have a question for you. Who can you encourage today? Is there anybody that comes to mind? Because I believe that our encouragement can empower somebody to continue on the path that God has for them to pursue what God has called them to do, and for them to stay in it. So who can you encourage? With this heart that God has given me, I want to love well. And with this mouth that God has given me, I want to encourage well. Because I think when there's love in the heart, encouragement will flow from the lips. And I know in this digital age, encouragement can also flow from our fingers as well. But I believe that a lot of people are like Jeremiah was. God was sharing with Jeremiah all the great things that God had prepared for him and was asking him to do and calling him into. And Jeremiah's response was, I can't do it. You got the wrong guy. Sorry, God. No. And God's response was not, yeah, I know, you're kind of lame. No, God's response was, you can do it. You can do it, and I will be with you. And you don't have reason to fear, for I have your back. And that's a great template for how we encourage others. We use our words to dismantle their fears, to give them reasons not to be afraid, to give them reasons to step out. And then we let them know, I got your back. I'm here with you. I'm going to support you. You may not have a perfect performance, but hey, you can count on me to be there for you, cheering you on. In Hebrews chapter 3, verse 13, it says that as long as it is called today, we ought to encourage one another. So who have you encouraged today? And that scripture goes on to say that we may not be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. So 3 things happen when we're encouraged. Our hearts remain tender. We stay clear of deception. We stay discerning. We stay sharp. And we stay away from sin. And on the flip side, 3 things happen when we're discouraged. We end up having our hearts hardened, where we become really cynical. And also we become very deceived, where we lack discernment. We're no longer seeing things with objectivity. Our vision is very cloudy and subjective. And also we end up into sin. And sin simply means missing God's best for our lives. That's why it's so important for you to remain encouraged. And it's also important for us to always be encouraging others. I wonder why we don't encourage people more. Have you ever thought about that? I mean, if it's something that's so easy to do, why don't we just take the time to do it? I believe that if we really love people, we will encourage. That if there's love in the heart, encouragement will flow from the mouth. It will flow from the fingertips in this digital age. But how come we do not encourage people more? Well, perhaps we need to continue to grow in love. I love what Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5, that love is not self-seeking. Because I think that's a big reason why we don't encourage others, because we're always kind of preoccupied with ourselves. We're wondering, how am I doing? How do I rank? Who am I in this world? How do people view me? Where am I in my social circle? And we're wondering, what do people think about me? How popular am I? And so we're so preoccupied with ourselves. I think instead of being self-seeking in our thinking, we need to be spending more time asking, who needs encouragement today? Who can I bless today with my words? Who can I let them know that I'm with them, that I'm for them? Who can I be a blessing to today? Man, that's a much better way to live. That's living the life of love. I think another reason why we don't encourage people is because we're kind of afraid. We're afraid of how they're going to receive it. What if we release an encouragement and really share our heart, and they just look at us with a blank stare, and how awkward is that? Or well, what if we encourage them and they just look at us, all cynical, wondering like, hey, what's his agenda? And we may be thinking that if we encourage people that they may just strike it down, and then we'll end up feeling stupid. And yet, you know what? Again, love is not self-seeking. That we ought to get past those fears. Because here's what one of the early disciples of Jesus said: perfect love casts out fear. So as God's love fills our hearts, we're going to get past those fears. And as you get past your fear, you're helping somebody else get past their fear. As you step out to encourage somebody, somebody else will be empowered to step out as well. As you have the courage to encourage. By the way, it does take courage to encourage. It takes a courageous person to be an encouraging person. And yet as we do it, we impart courage to somebody else's soul. And so why don't we encourage people more? Let's go ahead and do that. Is there somebody that comes to mind? Maybe as I've been speaking the last few minutes, there's somebody in mind that you can encourage? Well, go ahead and reach out to them and release a word of encouragement. With this heart God has given us, let's not waste it on anything but love. And with this mouth God has given us, let's use it to encourage others. With these fingers in this digital age, let's go ahead and release blessing. Let's encourage somebody today. You know what? The world really needs it right now. Thank you for watching Humble Spirituality. This is Daniel. Hope to see you again.